Hi, you clicked on today's tropical tidbit for Monday. Over here we got Danielle spinning over here in the Central Atlantic. This did get named yesterday. We've had a lot of nonsense going in this area of the world over here, but I've neglected to mention it because there's been nothing really organized, and although there's a lot of clouds and debris and upper lows over here and stuff, there's not much really going on, not much concern. Watch this area just in case something tries to get going, but right now nothing much to really look at. This is Frank over here in the Eastern Pacific. If we zoom in on Danielle over here, we can see it's moving west-northwest. Notice this eye feature trying to develop over here, and this doesn't mean it's a hurricane. This still looks like a strong tropical storm to me. The hurricane center's intensity of 65 miles per hour looks good. This eye is still in the what they might call the wrapping stage, where it's still trying to wrap around a strong ring of convection that will try to form a sustained eye wall, because the eye wall can't go through pulses like convection sometimes does in systems that are trying to develop. If you want an eye, you have to have an eye wall that's going to stay there permanently. So it's trying to get that ring of convection to get going and stay there, and we might see the eye try to become more defined over the course of today. But as I opined yesterday, I still think strengthening might be gradual over the next couple of days and not explosive, as the upper winds are still predominantly easterly, and it's not the best setup for the greatest upper high to develop over the system. So strengthening should be gradual. However, this will become a hurricane, and I do believe that by the time it gets into this area, it has a decent shot to become a major. So at least a category 2, and we'll see if it tries to make a run at major status. We'll see how it goes. Now here's the Hurricane Center forecast. You can see takes it up and out. The models are all in agreement now that this is going to go out, and all the ensemble means now since yesterday have switched. All the western runs that had it affecting Bermuda and maybe the northeast United States are gone now and all switched over here. And there comes a point when you're looking for possibilities like this, you got to understand that people like me hunt down possibilities that could affect people. We know about this possibility over here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be constantly searching for something we might be missing that could end up affecting people like the island of Bermuda or the northeast United States, and then warn people about those scenarios to see if they might come to pass, even if it's just a small possibility, so that if it does come to pass, people have been warned. But there comes a point when all the models start locking onto a system once it's fully matured, and they are all taking it out now, so that has become the dominant solution and the one that is most likely to occur. And although Bermuda should try to watch this, if the storm tries to come south of the forecast points into this area, they might still want to be concerned over here, so keep an eye on it for sure in Bermuda. But the eastern U.S. can probably rest easy now, and if this follows the points through the next couple of days, Bermuda will also have not much to worry about except some swells and perhaps gusty north winds on the west side of this storm, and this will probably recurve out with time. This over here, this is Danielle. This is what will probably try to become Earl. We'll see if it tries to strengthen much. It may not be in the best situation for a whole lot of development, but it looks pretty nice coming off the coast right now. So wouldn't be surprised to see a low get going with this, come west right in behind Danielle, and try to spin up. But since Danielle may be try to become rather large, we might see this not have the greatest environment to really wind up. Now, one thing that I mentioned a couple of times over the last week is that if Danielle recurves east of 60 west, which is right here, we may have to watch off the southeast U.S. coast or in the Gulf of Mexico for possible homegrown mischief from the trough split that occurs with the trough that recurves Danielle out. If she recurves sufficiently far east, we may have to watch for homebrew, and this is something that we're now going to have to watch for since Danielle has been locked on to a most likely recurving track east of 60 west. This is the European ensembles day 8, 500 millibar. This is the Hurricane Danielle recurving out like this, and notice the ridge building into the northeastern U.S. over here. Too late to trap Danielle, but you have to watch for this trough, see if there's a split that occurs underneath, and see if there's some funny business. We go out to day 10 over here. There's the ridge over the northeast, and notice the blurbs of purple over here. Remember what these represent. These represent discrepancies within the ensemble members' disagreements. So this means that these areas of pink are showing some ensemble members showing blips of low pressure off the southeast U.S. coast in this area as the trough tries to split away, leave a piece over here, and this is also very interesting over the Gulf of Mexico. The ensemble's in good agreement on some sort of a area of low pressure over here that shows up on the surface map as well, and if you get that underneath this ridge, this whole area has to be watched for some mischief in 8 to 10 days. We go out here to the Canadian, and this is day 8 on the Canadian, and this is Danielle exiting out over here, and you can see a little bit of a trailing trough behind. We got to day 9. Look what's happening over here near the Bahamas. Might be a tropical wave getting entrained into a trough split situation. You can see the high over to the north, and you get lowering pressures in here. Day 10, you notice a couple of areas of low pressure have developed on either side of Florida. Big high over the top, and this is the kind of situation where you can get homebrew, the hurricane left, the trough lifted out, and you get the ridge building in. And you can see the Canadians sniffing out lowering pressures in here, and this is something we may have to watch. Finally, we will look at the GFS take on things. This is day 8, Danielle, hurricane going out, trough trailing behind. Notice the trailing trough, the ridge, giant ridge building into the northeast U.S., and look what's sitting at the surface at day 8. Big, large area of precipitation and lower pressures over the northern Gulf over here and the big surface high to the north. This is a situation where you should watch the Gulf over here. And notice there are some differences between some models seeing it over here and some seeing it over here, but both areas would be favorable for potential mischief depending on how things set up, so we'll keep watching it. We go out to day 10 over here. You see the area of precipitation and low pressure still going in the northern Gulf, and this might have been Earl recurving out over here. We go out to day 13 and now look at develop something off the southeast U.S. coast in the Carolinas, and you got this out here, and you got something developing down in the Caribbean, and all this while you've got ridging developing over the top of everything. Notice how the height lines are curved anticyclonically up here, indicating net ridging to the north, and then the height lines are curved cyclonically to the south, both over here indicating lower than normal heights, and here, so you got high heights over low heights, and that is always a pattern that is conducive for hurricane development and a pattern that can hit the United States. So you got 3 storms on the map. By day 13, don't think this is going to be a slow start to September. The pattern should be setting up now where we start to knock these names down off the list and check them off as the hurricane season matures, and this pattern becomes one where storms start to light off one after another. So, as always, we will be on the lookout for mischief. That is it for today. Thanks for watching.